Hello and welcome to this quick video about this question here from this gentleman called Joel. Joel is one of my Patreons and he was asking about how you set up voice files. Now I have lots of videos on how you can configure Open and EdgeTX for these basic functions with things like adding a sound to a switch. However, what Joel is asking is kind of a little bit more complicated, because if you mix different switches on one channel so you can provide, I don't know, 5 or 6 modes, if you're not using something like the 6-position switches, it can get a little bit trickier. Now, I have made videos about this in the past, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to revisit this because when I tried to find that video, I struggled as well. So time for an update. So Joel, this one is for you. So here we are on my TX16S, and I have lots of different things to set up, so I can show you some of the more of the basics if you're not sure about those. So for example, my arming switch is here.
Armed. Disarmed.
So that's one thing I've got set up. I've also got something set up so as I press each of the different 6-position switches, we get a different sound.
Acro mode on.
And then finally, I have mixed 2 switches together, which is what Joel's original question is about. Now, most of the stuff that you're going to do with sounds, if you go into model setup and then go into special functions, are in here. And you can decide, if we click on here and say edit, the switch that you want to use. And again, if you have this highlighted, you can just move the switch that you're interested in and then hit the key. Then you can select play track. There's also play sound and other things too. And then you can choose from the audio files that are on your SD card which one you want to play and how many times you want to play it. That's the simplest way to do it. However, you can also use the exclamation mark. Now, the exclamation mark is a bit of a weird one. I'm going to cover this again in case. I have this set up so that rather than it be the switch, it's the exclamation mark in front of the switch. And that is the same as saying not. So this says when the switch is not in that position, you play this file. And this file, in this case, just happens to be the disarmed. So what will happen is when the switch is in the forward position, we'll get armed. When it's in any other position, we get disarmed.
Disarmed.
Armed.
Armed.
Or straight to the back.
Disarmed.
So that is the way that I've got those 2 set up. Third way is this same kind of thing, but you can actually choose each of the 6 positions on the 6-position switch as a control. So you see here the 6P1, 6P2, and as I press them, it's going to kind of automatically select them. I just had it set for 6 switch position 2, and then it plays the track set up in exactly the same way. However, it gets a little bit trickier when, well, I can't just use the switch, because if you've done some clever mixing and have multiple switches connected for lots of different flight modes, which is kind of what Joel is asking for, how the devil do you do that? Well, let's come out of this completely and go back to the start. And let me show you the channel monitor. So I've got channel 6 here set up for my flight modes, and I've mixed a couple of switches together. I've mixed switch E and switch A together so that it gives me lots of different positions for different flight modes. This is handy for things like iNav. I have a very basic version of this for my iNav wings, but also things like R2 Pilot is great for too. But then if we're moving 2 switches, how on earth do you get it so that it'll say the right voice for the particular position that you're in? So let's have a go for that. So you can see here in the channel monitor, you have all these different values. So I've got it set up so it goes -95, 55, 15, and then it goes 35, 85, and -15. So let's pick one of these. And I've chosen the position that gives you 5%. So what we can do is we can actually, on the radio, tell it that when that channel 6 is at 5%, play the sound. So that's the way we're going to do it. Now, what we need to do is go back into the model settings. We don't go straight into the special functions to set it up as we normally would. We need to set a logical switch, because we still need a switch to activate the sound, but we need a logical switch that's going to select and pick up when that channel is in that position. And it looks like this. So what we say is when A tilde X, and tilde is like an S on its side, which means when A is approximately equals to X, where version 1 or where A is channel 6 and V2 is 5. Now that could be whatever channel value it is. And that means that if it isn't exactly there, it wanders about a little bit, maybe it's a slider or something, you're still going to get it to sound. That means that when that switch is in that position, if you watch it here, it's currently white.
Auto.
You can see logical switch 1 is turning on. So I can turn it off
Auto.
and turn it on. Now we have a logical switch set up, and what we do is we set up logical switches for each of those 6 positions, or however many we had on the mode channel. We can now then do exactly what we did normally, but this time we've set up the play track to play from the logical switch 01, and that is down here. You just choose these logical switches on the left hand side, and then I've set it up to play auto, although again it could play pretty much anything. So we could say whatever that is. Let's see what that is.
Black box active.
Black box active, there you go, that's what that one means. So that's how I would do it. There are loads of different ways to set up different audio alerts depending on your switch positions, but if you can't do it that way, I would just set it up a logical switch for the channel value that they're using for whatever it is the control is, and then set the logical switch then to play the audio file that you need. Thank you for watching the video. If you watch my videos and find them useful, then please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot. If you really like what I'm doing here, you can become a Patreon and support the time I spend helping others and get access to lots of exclusive benefits. Link is in the video description. Remember that all the videos on the channel are organized into playlists, so you can easily use those playlists to find all the videos on a subject that you are interested in. Add Painless 360 to your searches on Google and YouTube, and it'll help you find my content for any particular topic. Thanks again for watching, and as always, happy flying.